I've been using Publisher Rocket for a long time, since long before it was called Publisher Rocket, back in the early days of KDP Rocket. And the tool has changed so much over the years that I realized it's time to just do another big picture review and kind of show you the features. So I'm not going to take you and do an entire massive campaign and do training. I just want to show you everything that Publisher Rocket's capable of because it's so powerful. And they're really done a lot of things. On the very first version, there were some things I didn't like, and I actually emailed Dave, the owner of the product, and said, hey, I want you to add these features. They've all been added, so I'm really, really excited. So our main areas are keyword search. This is where you take an idea and see if it's a good idea. Then you look to see what the competition is like. Then you can start finding the right categories to put your book in, which is absolutely critical. When I had a book on hoarding, it did terrible for years. But when I moved it into the hoarding category, as soon as I discovered that category, suddenly my book on decluttering your house and cleaning everything up and taking control of your destiny became a #1 bestseller. It started selling really, really well. So the category makes a massive difference, and it can really, really help you. And this is where a lot of people get stuck, because maybe you don't know this, but Amazon changes the categories almost every 6 weeks. Categories appear and categories disappear. And finally, we have AMS Keyword Research, which stands for the Amazon Ads Platform. So I'm going to show you how each of these tools is used separately, and we'll just dig right in. So our first tool we're going to look at is keyword search. What's really, really cool is that you can separate your book and ebook categories. So let's say we're doing a book. One of my books is on potty training, and let's just start there. Because what we want to do is see, is potty training the right word? And this is important. This is important because there's a big crossover between potty training and, as you can see here, potty training a puppy. We want to make sure that we're finding the right keywords. If you're talking about dog training and child training, they're very different. So this is our first initial result. It gives us all of these keywords, and we want to click on Analyze for any keyword that we find useful we might go after. So potty training for boys, kids, parents, toddlers, boys, potty training in 3 days, powerful keyword. We're going to skip over puppy. We're going to go for toddler, see puppy, dog, autism, that is children. Autistic appears twice. So these are going to give us a big feel. We can see overall potty training has 2,151 books targeting it. And the top books, the average earnings, I believe this is the average earning of the top books in this category. We're each making about $8,000 a month, which is really good. Massive Google search. There's not a lot of Amazon searches, but we know that these are really targeted, and this sells really well because I've been in this category for a long time. So we see this, it gives us a good feeling. We're looking for secondary keywords. We can see that if we just make a potty training book for boys, now we're competing with 10% as many people. And the competitive score drops down to 21, and even though the search is almost the same volume. So you could write potty training book for boys and make a lot more money. It's not as difficult. That's what's interesting. So that's what we're starting to see just by looking at this. Now, the next part of our process, once we see some keywords we find interesting, is to go into competition. So what I want to do is look at the competition of potty training for boys. What I want to see is 10 books that are specifically about potty training boys. So what we see is potty training in 3 days. This is wide. This is wide. This is the first one that's specifically about boys. When I say wide, I mean this is regular potty training book. It's not boy specific. Here's a second boy specific one. It's boys. So we have 3 boy ones. Here's Daniel the Tiger, who I guess he's a boy, so that counts. And potty training the toddlers. Yeah, this is wide. And this is for boys. So what we're actually seeing is there are only 4 or 5 books in here that are all for boys. And one of the things that's really important is to actually look at what are people really making. And our top 2 books are making most of the money. Potty Training in 3 days, this new book at the top from Bronze Books, this is doing about $18,000 a month I'm writing up. And the Galecki book, Jamie Galecki, is doing about $7,500. But then if you look at our next book, the Potty Training book for boys, $62 a month. All of these other books are making really low. The next best one is $446 for this, and that's like a picture type book, so it's a different type of book anyways. This is a board book, I believe. So what we're seeing here is that potty training for boys, unless you're number 1 or number 2, there's not a lot of money there. And that's what we can find out really quickly by using Publisher Rocket. If we didn't have a tool like this, we would be struggling to find the right place. And that's how powerful this tool is. And what I also love is that they added the export feature. That's one of the first features I specifically asked them for, and I'm loving it. Then we go to category search, which is really helpful. If you want to find the right place to put your kids, there's actually multiple different places that hide parenting and potty training categories, and that's what we want to find so that we can deliver something really effective and put our books in the right marketplace. So when we're doing our category searches, I like to do them separately. I separate book and ebook simply because I'm going to list my books differently. And what I found, having put hundreds of books on Amazon and been in a lot of categories, is that they're really different. That oftentimes the hardback categories or the paperback categories for my physical book and the categories for my Kindle book are not similar at all because they're organized very, very, very differently. Most of the physical book categories have been established a long time ago, long before ebooks even existed, but ebooks and categories are changing so fast that we need to adapt with them really quickly. And you can see that Publisher Rocket appears to be downloading a new database for me, which is going to take a few seconds. But as soon as we have that in, we're going to deep dive into this tool. Now that we're looking at our categories that's refreshed, we can see that all the categories for both are organized one way. Let's start with ebook. Now what we're looking for is parenting. And what we can actually do is start typing different words like toilet. And we can see we have a category toilet training. And we can see that this, in order to be number 1, we have to sell 335 a month. In order to be number 10, we have to sell 27. So if we want to rank in here, if we think we can sell more than one copy a day, then we could be in the top 10. That's pretty good. But if you look here, there's a second category that's really, really interesting. Children's ebooks, growing up fast and facts, life, health, toilet training. In this category, the top book is ranked higher, but you could have only 5 sales a month and be in the top 10. So what we have here is a hard and an easy category. Let's check out the easy category because that's interesting to me. And this actually loads up in Amazon browser. You'll have to forgive me, the colors are reversed because of my eyes. And what we see here is these are picture books. So these are books that are meant for the kid to actually read. So if you're writing a book for parents, it's going to go in the other category. But here, if you want to write a picture book for kids about potty training, wide open, big opportunity for you to get in the top 10. And that's really interesting. That's a great way for you to go after both categories. Let's take a look at books. And we're going to try the same thing. Books, children's books, growing up facts of life, really great category. So I like this as well. If we go and try another word like potty, see what we get. Or let's say kid. So we cooking kids, kidnapping, science for kids, cooking for kids. Yeah. So there's nothing there for kids. Parenting. So here, we can look at our parenting for other ideas and see things like there's a babysitting category. What I'm looking for is just stuff that's a little bit parallel and could be the right place to put my book. So we're just looking for interesting ideas where, because it is a part of parenting, right? Parenting, and it's a part of like childhood, toddlers. So we might want to look at like toddler. I'll try that as well. Yeah, see? So this is interesting. Parent, toddler, breastfeeding, child development, toilet training. So here we found another toilet training category. To get in the top 10, you only need to sell 2. So what we see is that there's a lot you could do with the power of Publisher Rocket. When we're really finding the right place to publish our book, we use keyword research to see if it's a good idea. Once we write the book, we can use category research to put in the right categories. And once we're ready to run ads, well, then we can use this tool. So we just type in potty and click Go Get 'em Rocket. And what we're actually looking for, an Amazon ads campaign could have up to 1,000 keywords you can target in a single campaign. So we want to have lots and lots of keywords. What's beautiful about this is we just get tons and tons of keywords. Now, what's important is to go through and get rid of the ones that aren't relevant, like potty animals. And we're just looking for things that are relevant. And even if it's wide, like potty chair, we're not selling a potty chair, but my book mentions potty chairs. My book has potty chairs, my book has potty charts, my book doesn't talk about potty dolls, but these are all relevant. So even though I wouldn't target this with the 7 keywords that you get when you're publishing your book, because we want 1,000 keywords that are kind of related, I want anything other than potty training for dogs, like potty pad for dogs. If someone's trying to potty train dog, my book's not relevant, right? Mine's about potty training kids, but otherwise, I'm going to grab as many of these keywords as I can. And what's beautiful about this is it gives us a nice big list. We export it. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to even open it for you so you can see what it looks like. Now, there's a lot we can do to process the keywords. So this is our AMS keyword research. You can see potty is our keyword. So it saves it in a nice way. You can tell what keyword you were searching in each of these different campaigns we're running. And hopefully it will load. Yep, everything always takes a second when recording one of these videos, doesn't it? So we're going to make it larger so it's a little easier to see everything. And we can see a big list of keywords here. And then we also have names. So what I'll do is make these a lot bigger so you can see it. Because you can also run your ads on names. So you can target Rebecca Gentle and Andrea Olson. So we have a lot here that we can work with. We can see they've given us about 120 or 130 keywords. So if we double that, we get 260. Now, as I said, I like to run campaigns targeting 1,000. Okay, we don't have that many author names. So maybe we have 200 keywords here, right? This is just the beginning. We go back to Publisher Rocket. Go, oh, you know what? I need to do a new search. I need more. And again, we're only doing keywords inside of ebook, right? You can then do a separate campaign for your book targeting, for your Amazon ads where you're targeting the physical book. But let me go through this. Another beautiful thing is that you can switch and run other markets. Like there's a lot of opportunities in the German market. I haven't mentioned that yet. And you can search in English or German, but I want to just show you the American stuff first. So see, we can see a lot of stuff that's useful and some that's not, right? Like toilet paper, toilet paper on sugar, definitely not relevant. So we might even want to do a little tighter of a search like toilet train. And let's see, it's loading. Give it a few seconds to get our better results. And see, now we have much better results, right? Toilet train. Obviously don't need cat, right? We don't need dog. Probably don't need to train a frog. I don't know. You could do that. Learn something new every day. Kitten, litter box. So see, we can get, when you call it toilet instead of potty, you start to get more animal ones, because most people don't say potty training a cat, I guess. But when we remove all the animal ones, you'll find that we have another batch of results and we can start working our way towards. And now we have our keyword research, which used to be really, really, really hard for setting up your Amazon ads because you had to come up with creative ideas. The thing that Publisher Rocket does that none of the other tools do is use the power of Google. So go back here. Let's just type potty train one more time. What most keyword research tools do is they just do like potty train A and see what results come up, then potty train B. But the beauty of what they do in Publisher Rocket is they find searches that you wouldn't have found any other ways, right? Like Channel Train and Marta Train. Like, yeah, these are totally wrong, but because it gives us such a wider search, you're going to get a lot of keywords you wouldn't find any other way. That's why Publisher Rocket is such a powerful tool. It's how I've used it to become a bestseller in dozens of categories. So many times I lost count. I lost count after about my 12th bestseller ranking. But I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that Publisher Rocket is definitely a really powerful tool, and they're continually adding new features. So I definitely recommend that you add it to your publishing arsenal.